In our series of conversations around work-life balance, women employment, and equal opportunities more in general, we're going to speak today about the role of public procurement. And we will do this together with Valentina Caimi from the European Association for Information on Local Development. Can you present yourself and also Aidel, for those who don't know you?
Yes. I work as external consultant for AIDL. AIDL is the European Association on Information on Local Development. It's a Belgian association specialized in local development from very different angles. And it has been operating for almost 30 years. And there I'm the head of the thematic unit on employment, entrepreneurship and inclusion. About myself, I've been working in the field of socially responsible public procurement for 15 years, I would say, first in Italy in the frame of an equal project and then in Brussels. When I was in Brussels, in my previous job at the Social Platform, which is the largest platform of European social NGOs, I've been advocating together with other key actors, such as REV, to make sure that the directive on public procurement that was negotiated at that time, it was from 2010-2014, had a stronger social aspect. Recently with EADL, I've been the project manager of 2 projects on socially responsible public procurement, Buying for Social Impact and We Buy Social EU, that we are commissioned, have been commissioned by EASME and DG GROW.
Mm-hmm. Which role do you think can public procurement play when it comes to improving the access of women to the labor market and work-life balance?
If we consider that public buyers spend 14% of the EU gross domestic product at European level, we can, it becomes very evident that if more and more contracting authorities include social considerations and in this case gender considerations, gender aspects in their tendering procedures, this is going to lead to positive change. Some examples that are possible. First of all, contracting authorities, especially when they design a contract for the acquisition of a service, should start wondering if the service they are going to procure takes into account if there are differences in the situation of women and men. This should really be a key question that all contracting authorities should ask at the very beginning of the procedure. Then concretely, especially in the frame of contract performance clauses, contracting authorities can promote gender equality and increased participation in the labor market of women, and also a better reconciliation between family and working life. And this is usually done by the means of contract performance clauses, but for example, also reserve contracts could also be used to push for a better gender equality. For example, by foreseeing that a reserved contract for focusing on women who have been a victim of domestic violence, or migrant women, or women with disabilities. These are just some examples of what is possible.
Okay, thank you. Aidel is carrying out, for the moment, a study on gender-responsive public procurement. This is done on behalf of the European Institute for Gender Equality. share some information on this initiative?
Yes, exactly. It's a contract we were awarded at the beginning of October, and it's a project, a research project that is going to last for 1 year. And we have to deliver different tasks. First of all, we need to carry out a mapping of the level of awareness of contracting authorities at all levels, EU level, so meaning the institutions and agencies, but then at national level, so the ministries, and also local and regional levels. Really about the awareness that public procurement can be used to promote gender equality goals. This is one big task of the project. We are also going to investigate if gender equality bodies or other departments in charge of gender equality are involved in the design of any tendering procedure. We are also going to identify a number of good practices that exist in the EU. Finally, we are going to develop a practical toolkit tailored, really addressed to contracting authorities on how to implement gender responsive public procurement step by step, so throughout the whole procurement cycle. And finally, we will test it with a sample of public procurers and also stakeholders. We will finalize the toolkit, and we are also going to have a few communications products at the end.
Coming back to this study you're carrying out, but also to your previous experiences working on public procurement, is gender responsive public procurement already a topic in public policies and administration? Where are we now?
If you consider strategic procurement, green procurement is the most widespread at EU level. Then socially responsible public procurement is being progressively diffused, even if it is still there is still a lot to do, and you keep on constantly need to raise awareness and build the capacity. When it comes to gender responsive public procurement, there is really very little at EU level. Of course, there are exceptions, and there are some cities or member states who have been a bit at the forefront. And I can give the example of the city of Vienna. The city of Vienna already 10 years ago set up a working group to really explore how public procurement could have been used to promote gender equality. And after that, they developed an internal policy. They developed capacity by providing checklists, training, and also offering support to potential bidders, companies. And now they have a policy which is really positive, in the sense that they require companies who are bidding for a service contract of a certain amount, of course, to really engage, commit in improving the situation of women. And they do it by mainly using contract performance clauses. So at the end of at the moment of when a bid is submitted, the bidder needs to commit, for example, they can choose by basically improving the situation of women in recruitment, or improving the situation of women in qualifications, or in improving work-life balance, or even taking more structural measures, such as, for example, having I don't know, a policy really for the development of women, further training on gender equality, specific measures to prevent and avoid sexual harassment, for example. So the city of Vienna is really a very good example, and we really hope with this project to find there are also other examples. I can quote countries such as France, Spain, Sweden. It seems there is a bit in Germany, in Belgium, for example, the Belgian gender equality body developed a very useful and clear guide on how to implement gender responsive public procurement. So there are few examples, but it is far from being widespread.
So where do you see possibilities for improvement in the short term now that you're also going to develop these guides, and what do you think might still take longer?
Yeah. As we have seen in the previous projects on socially responsible public procurement, if we look, it's a process that takes time. At the present, the legal framework that is in force, the directive on public procurement that we have, already offers a lot of opportunities. So in the short term, it's more a question of raising awareness, because most contracting authorities really do not know that public procurement can be used to this aim. And after you have raised awareness and there is political will from the contracting authority to do something about that, it's important to develop the capacity. Already in the previous project, Buying for Social Impact, we have seen that even if you have the perfect legal framework, this is not enough. And for a good implementation, you need political will, because of course we are always talking of provisions which are not compulsory, not mandatory. But then public buyers need to do how to do it in practice. So the Commission is now working and promoting the professionalization of public buyers, and they should also focus, one aspect of this work should also focus on how to promote gender equality. In the long run, we could also see if when the directive is reopened, maybe there might be recommendations to promote or to encourage a more favorable legal framework. This is another task we're going to carry out in the project, because from the findings we will have to develop recommendations for the future. But we still do not know. The project is really at the early stages.
Yeah, then we wish you all success with it, and hope to hear then about the results and be able to spread also the toolkit. So thank you, Valentina.
Thank you very much. And I would like to take the opportunity to say that we have opened a survey to all contracting authorities at all levels, but also stakeholders. So it can be NGOs, social partners, etc. To really understand the level of awareness and possibly identify some good practices.